Hi everyone, welcome to my channel Go Sew Beautiful. My name's Becky and today is Friday, so it's time for another episode of Friday Sews. Shout out to Jen from Today in Jen's Sewing Room who created the hashtag Friday Sews and invited any sewist with a YouTube channel to join in and share things that we're making, things that we're sewing, and a little bit about life. So today I wanted to share with you what I've been up to in my sewing room and my plans for 2022. Sort of my Make 9 guide. Okay, so first of all, what I have been working on, I took a little bit of a break right after Christmas. We went and visited some family. And I didn't really take my sewing machine with me. I did some crocheting, and that was a lot of fun. And then when we came home, I just really wanted to chill out and relax. So y'all probably saw my little New Year's Eve video or New Year's Day, I can't remember. I was in my pajamas working on a puzzle. So that's pretty much what I did. But when January 1st hit, I really wanted to get back into my sewing room. So I mentioned before Christmas that I had bought a remnant of fabric from Joann's, and I thought I would make a little shirt out of it for Christmas Eve. Well, this is the shirt. It's this really pretty stretch velvet knit, and I made, where's the pattern? I made New Look 6143 View B. It's a raglan sleeve top with a little fold over turtleneck. And according to the measurements on the pattern, I made a size medium. And so I made that, put it on, it was really big. And then I looked at the pattern again and it had the finished measurements on it, and I thought, well, no wonder it's big. It really did not have a lot of negative ease built into it, so it may be that this knit was just too stretchy for that pattern, had too much stretch. But I went ahead and recut it in a small, and then I still had to take it in. And not only that, it has this seam in the sleeves. I don't know if you can see that. The sleeve is actually, it's got a seam on the underarm, and it also has one that goes over the shoulder. And that shoulder seam just bubbled out quite a bit. I don't think I took any pictures of it, but I had a hard time trying to get that to smooth out. And I watched a video by T from Crumpets Tea and Sewing, and she had also made a top out of this similar stretch velvet. I think she said she got hers at Hobby Lobby. And she also, it was a raglan sleeve top, and it also had problems with it kind of bubbling on the top of the sleeve. I fixed mine as best I could and went ahead and made it up, only to discover that it has these big pressure marks on it from where it was folded on the bolt. And at first I thought it was my fault, because when I pre-washed it, I hung it over a railing in our house to dry, or not to dry, but I just hung it over so that I would remember to take it back down to my sewing room. But after looking at it, I realized these folding marks are from the bolt that it was on. So I had washed it, and I thought, well, I'll just wash it again. So I washed it undelicate, put it in the dryer for a few minutes, and then took it out to dry. It still has these fold marks. Then I looked on YouTube for how to get rid of fold marks or pressure marks out of velvet. Now I put stretch velvet, and really all I could find was information about regular velvet, which involves wetting it down and gently brushing it until the fold mark disappears. So I tried that a little bit. I didn't really put a whole lot of effort into it because the marks are so big that I don't know if it's worth me going to all that trouble. But I hate to give up on it because it's such a pretty color and pretty shirt. So I think what I'm going to do is I may try to soak it in a tub of water and then take it out before it's dry and see if I can brush those lines out. Anyway, that was one thing I worked on. Sorry for that long explanation. The next thing I worked on was a pair of pants. I decided to make the Pietra pants from Closet Core Patterns. I gained a little weight over the holidays and felt like I needed a nice, comfortable pair of pants. And I made these pants last spring out of a linen, and they kind of became my go-to pants to wear whenever I had gained a little weight or just wanted something nice and comfortable that looked pretty good. So I decided to make these, and I made the same size as I made in the linen pants, and I believe that was like a 16 graded out to an 18. And I'll put a picture of me in that size. Actually, I modeled it a little bit, and you can see they're pretty big. So I was a little disappointed because I had really hoped they would be wearable. And I thought, well, like I said, I'm just going to, the waistline came up really high, and they are high-waisted pants, but these came up almost under my bra strap, under my bra. So I decided I would take them apart and cut that waist seam down. So I did that, and I think they fit much better. But I noticed, and you can see it in these pictures here, there's just a lot of extra volume on the sides here. I mean, there's a lot of extra volume in the back. And I don't know if that's, I mean, I know my bottom is big, but it almost seems like there's just too much gathering in the back. And I do like the way they look in the front. I think the pockets, I like the way they're slat, you know, they're kind of, I don't know what you call that. But I just like the way the front is. So I may try to, I haven't decided whether I want to take them apart again and get rid of this elastic, or at least this much elastic, cut it down so that it's smooth on the sides, and maybe put some darts in it, and then just put a little bit of elastic to make it hug the waist in the back. But this is a cotton stretch sateen, cotton sateen stretch from Joann Fabrics, and it's pretty lightweight. So these would definitely be good for wearing transitionally between winter and spring. But like I said, I put a lot of time into them, and I'm kind of getting tired of it. I may just try to make another pair out of something else. So those are two of the makes, two of the things I've been working on in the past week. Now I want to talk about what my plans are for 2022. Okay, so the prompt is, what are the top 3 things you want to do in 2022? And it doesn't really say whether they are sewing related or not. But in terms of sewing related things, my top 3 things that I want to accomplish are reduction of my stash, either by selling on destashify.com, giving some away, and of course, sewing up what I have. So that's number 1, is reduce my stash. Number 2 would be similar in that I want to use the patterns that I have rather than purchasing new ones that I probably don't need, because a lot of patterns that I buy are similar to each other, with 1 or 2 details that I could probably figure out how to do without buying a new pattern. And a lot of times I buy patterns on impulse when I see them made up by other people with different body types than what I have. So I don't necessarily think just because they look good on that person doesn't mean they're going to look good on me. So I guess related to that would be, I want to make things that are suited for my body type and style. And then thirdly, I want to commit to planning ahead. Not necessarily every single minute of every single hour of every single day, every single week, etc. But I want to try to make things that I have been planning to make or that I bought fabric for and haven't gotten around to making. So I did make a list of actually 12 things. There's a Make 9 challenge, Make 9 whatever on Instagram, where you set up a grid of 9 things that you want to make for the year, and then you post them when you make them. There's no prizes, no contest or anything like that. It's really, I think, just to motivate you and kind of keep you on track. Well, I had about 50 things I want to make. Actually, that's exaggerating. I'm exaggerating. I just have a lot of things I want to make. And so I started writing down some of the things I wanted to make and picked out the things that I have had in my mind to make and just never did. And in terms of Make 9, I made my list Make 12 because I thought try to make 3 tops, 3 bottoms, 3 dresses, and then 3 other things to go with it. So here's what I have in mind. The first thing is 3 tops, and these 3 tops that I've listed here are in no particular order, and I may change my mind, but if I'm trying to figure out what to sew, I'm going to go to this list first. So the first top that I want to make is the Ermine blouse from Fibre Mood magazine. I got a subscription to Fibre Mood last year and have really enjoyed looking at the patterns. And it comes with 10 patterns or so in each issue. And so I have a lot of patterns from Fibre Mood. You do have to trace them off and add seam allowances, I think, but this Ermine blouse is pretty cute. It's got a V yoke in the front, which is gathered and then buttoned down, and then I think it's just got a round neck with a binding around the collar. And here's a couple pictures. Don't know if you can see that, but I have plenty of fabric to make with that. The second top I want to have on my list is this McCalls M7839, and I really want to make a hoodie, which is View E, and that particular the way they have it made has these little pearls stitched on the sides of the sleeves. I think they're pearls. I probably won't put those on because I just don't, I'm afraid they would get caught on something. I may put some other decorative thing on there, but I think I just want the hoodie part of it. Especially now that it's gotten so cold here in Georgia, I feel like making a lot of warm clothes. And then the third top that I want to make is from Seamwork Patterns, and this is actually a dress, but it can be shortened to be made in the top, into a top, and this is a Natalie shirt or shirt dress, and it's basically a little camp style shirt or dress that I also have a subscription now to Seamwork Patterns, and I can choose as many patterns from their library as I want and download them for free. So I thought I would give this one a try. So those are the 3 tops. I also have chosen 3 pants or 3 bottoms, and for my bottoms I have chosen a pair of pants. This is Simplicity S8842 called the Amazing Fit, and I would like to make I think it looks like you can make them in a cropped or an ankle length. I want to make the ankle length pants, and I may have to wait until I lose a little bit of weight because this only goes up to a size 14, but that is also on my list of things to do this year. The next thing I want to make, and this is one of those things I've been planning or have wanted to make for a long time, and that is to make a pair of dungarees. Now, my first choice were these Haley dungarees from Workshop Patterns, and this was one of the first patterns, one of the first indie patterns I downloaded, and I painstakingly printed it out and taped it all together and then folded it up and never used it. So I really think I should go ahead and get this made up. The other choice I have for dungarees is this from Pauline Alice Patterns. They're called the Turia dungarees, and these I have also printed out, and I did not cut these out and put them together or tape the pattern together, but I believe I saw a picture of these and they really appealed to me. So I may end up making these. I don't know. I'll have to see how much fabric and I may make both of them. And then the other item I have for bottoms is a skirt that is like Tilly and the Buttons Bobbi skirt, and it's basically a little A-line skirt that buttons down the front, and then it has patch pockets. And I don't have this pattern yet, but I have patterns that are similar. I was not able to print it out. Actually, I haven't decided which pattern I'm going to use, but I saw a skirt very similar to this or maybe it was the Loft Outlet, and tried it on, and it looked really good on me, but I didn't want to pay Loft prices, so I decided I would make it. And that will be one of the things that I try to make this year. Okay, so those are the bottoms. The next thing are dresses. And this was a hard one because I have so many dress patterns. But the first dress I want to make, and this one I hopefully will make maybe first, is the Myosotis or Deer and Doe Myosotis dress. And this dress has been out for a while, but I've seen so many people make it, and it's so pretty. And I just think it will be a good dress for me to make. I'm not sure. I think I probably will I don't know if I'll put that lower tier on, just because I'm not a fan of doing a lot of ruffles, but I may change my mind. I do think I'll put the ruffle on the sleeve because I think that's pretty. So that's dress number 1. Dress number 2 is, actually it's this one. And this one's been out for a while too. This is a Made by Ray pattern, and it's called the Washi dress. And I actually got this several years ago when I saw it on Craftsy, and I bought a kit. It included the fabric and the pattern, and it really came out cute. And now it has an expansion pack where you can make it with a tie around the collar. And I don't know if you can see the line drawings on this, but it just has that pretty little scoop collar with a little cutout, and then pleats from the Empire waist, and then it's got shirring in the back. So that'll be really pretty. And then my final dress, which I want to make, is this vintage Simplicity pattern S9104. And I just like the lines on this. I may use my Simplicity fabric that I bought last summer. I'm not sure. And I'm not sure whether I want to make view, probably I'll make view B. I like that tie, this one here that the model is wearing. I like that, but I also like the Peter Pan collar. I just don't know if that's a good style for me. So those are my dress choices. And then the final thing is my other category. And these are things that don't really fall into the dress bottoms tops category. They're just different things. And the first thing I want to make is this McCalls jumper M7831. I have seen this made up quite a few times as well, and I bought fabric for it, and I never made it. And one of the reasons I do want to make it is because I had made a similar jumper to this several years ago, probably 20 years ago. I was a lot younger. Well, anyway, I just really enjoyed wearing it. And I think it will be fun to wear, just, you know, running errands or whatever, going out on a little date. And then the next thing I have on my list is the Marlow sweater. And I mentioned in my plans video for November and December, that I wanted to make a dress out of this blue cable knit that I had gotten. And really, originally, I had gotten that cable knit to make the Marlow sweater. So since I had originally planned to do that, I'm going to go ahead and follow through with that. I do want to make a muslin first. I've got some fleece that I think would make up very well in this, but I just want to make sure I like the way it fits before I cut into that expensive cable knit. And then I don't have a picture of it, but I did purchase and download the Pona jacket. I think it's from Closet Core, and it's just a kind of like a basic shacket style pattern. I'm not sure. And so I've been wanting to make that. But the other thing I've been wanting to make is the Lisbon cardigan from Itch to Stitch. And I just love cardigans, especially crew neck cardigans that button up the front. It's a very classic looking cardigan, and I really like to have an extra layer, especially, well, really year round, because a lot of times when I go to restaurants I get really cold, and so I like to have a nice layer to put on with that. So that's my Make 9/12 for 2022. Let me know if you are planning a Make 9, if you have any plans for the Make 9 challenge, and I would love to hear about it. Other things that are going on, I almost didn't make a video today. I got my COVID booster yesterday, and my arm is really sore. And I'm not sure if it's just from the shot itself or if it's a reaction to the booster. I don't think it's a reaction because I don't really have any flu-like symptoms or anything. But my arm is pretty darn sore to the point where I couldn't even sleep on it last night, and I sleep on my side. So I was not very happy about that, but it feels better now. And other stuff, my son is on his third car. He's 21 years old. His first car he got for a pretty good price was a Saturn Sky, and it was used, 2007. He loved that car. 10 days after he got it, he was on his way to work and somebody wrecked into him and the car got totaled. Thankfully, he was not injured, and however, the car, of course, didn't make it. And so he was really fortunate in that the other guy's insurance, he got a really good settlement and was able to buy another Saturn Sky with, I think it was a convertible, I'm not sure. And he loved that car because it was sporty, and you know, he likes to go fast. He's only 21. And that car was doing fine until I guess it was last fall. He was driving it home in the rain and lost control of the car and skidded across the road and totaled it, unfortunately. Thankfully, he wasn't hurt in that accident, but this time it took a while for the insurance company to replace the car. So they finally did, and he got I think it's a 2005, 2007 Mustang convertible. And while it did have 150,000 miles on it, he really wanted another Saturn, but that just wasn't in the cards. So he got it, and the day after he got it, it broke down, and we found that it had about a $1,400 repair. Nonetheless, he got it fixed, and the mechanic said, well, it'll last, you know, but you're not going to be able to drive it very hard. So since then, it has made a trip to Ohio and back, which is a 500-mile trip. And it has also made a trip to South Carolina, which is about 300 miles. And just the other day, he was driving it in the neighborhood, not far from our house, and it broke down again. And now it needs a new transmission. So our car situation, we just have to do it. He's going to get he's going to get a used transmission, and it will have less miles on it, and hopefully this one will last until he can save enough money to buy something a little bit newer with less miles. But such is life. Do you all have adult children? I think that's an oxymoron, you know, an oxymoronic statement. Adult children. Think about it. If you're an adult, you're not a child. If you're a child, you're not an adult. So anyway, that's just some things that are going on right now. I appreciate you all listening and watching, and I really hope that your new year is starting off great. I'm looking forward to this year. I'm really just continuing on with the same health goals and life goals that I had before. I appreciate you listening. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell so you can see when I upload new videos. I really do want to encourage you all to sew whatever you want to the best of your ability. Challenge yourself to do some new things if you feel like you're stuck in a rut. But don't give up sewing. And that's all for me today. Go sew beautiful. Bye-bye.